Welcome to 49ers Summer School. Classes in session. Take your seats, get out your book bags because we got some 49ers to school you on. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Boomerat says, hit that like button or you're a stinky Seahawk fan. I would agree with that. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Uh, it's time. If you were in summer school back in the day, it's probably because you like to mess around a little bit, like to have a little fun, like to goof off. And hey, I was in summer school a couple times. It happens, all right? It happens. Well, guess what? This is going to be our version of 49ers summer school. And let's face it, if you were in summer school, did you do a whole lot? It was just kind of like a transition period from going to regular school, kind of messing around, to summer school messing around. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to pretend to be serious, but we're just going to have some fun. And you guys probably already know where I'm going to start with this. Like I already see it kind of percolating in the chat, but you already know before we get into anything just yet, dropping SDS in the chat was good to the squad. Good to see the gang. Good to see the SDS. Shout out the Bread Gang. Good to see you guys checking in per usual. Matthew, smash that like button. You love to see it. Chili says, I got out of school. Now I got summer school. 100%. Oh, what's good, Vanessa? We back. I haven't seen Vanessa around these parts in a minute. What's good, VC? Shout out all the SDS. I hope you guys are enjoying your summertime. But now it's time to go to 49ers school and talk some 49ers. Let's see. SDS, not even going to acknowledge the poverty Super Bowl loser in the Philadelphia Eagles. But J10 asks, Chris Paul for Jordan Poole. Brad, your thoughts? These are my congrats on the upcoming child. That's always fun. Always a good time when we can bring a little kiddo into this world. But J10 says, Chris Paul for Jordan Poole. Brad, what are your thoughts? Definitely going to be a conversation today because I think, we all watch the NBA. And for us specifically, I'm a 49er fan, but I am also a Warriors fan. I got my gold-blooded towel right over here. I probably got some other miscellaneous Warriors stuff around here somewhere. Obviously, a lot of 49ers stuff. But I'm definitely a big time Warriors fan. So because we are in the Bay Area and you know the vibes. So I definitely have some thoughts on this. I also want to get your thoughts on it. I'll start here. What are my thoughts on the trade for Chris Paul for Jordan Poole? It's, to me, basically just the Warriors were just done with Jordan Poole. Obviously, it didn't go well. Clearly, it was all downhill after the punch scene around the world between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. It was just bad news bears from that point on. And, like we talk about it all the time with the 49ers. Like, you got to have continuity in that locker room. You got to have guys who's got each other's back. You have to – the season is tough enough as it is. But if you have infighting on top of that, it's really hard to find success. It doesn't matter what league you're in. And, of course, NBA basketball, it's even more, I think, important because it's such an intimate setting. There's only like 14 players, 15 players on a roster. So if some of your top players aren't jiving, you can just see it permeate throughout. So I really do think the Warriors were just kind of over it, right? They're just kind of over it. Uh, so I'm not shocked to see them trade Poole. I'm shocked that they got Chris Paul. Definitely shocked to see Chris Paul as a Warrior. I mean, he is just oh, if you're a Warriors fan, I'm not sure I've ever heard a Warriors fan say one good thing about Chris Paul. I mean, he is going to go down as one of the better point guards in the NFL, but or I said in the NFL, in the NBA, but man, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. And I don't feel like they're the winners of that trade. I feel like the Wizards won that trade, but it got, there's of course, we're a 49ers channel. Um and some questions were asked, and I thought it was a good topic because it brought up this kind of topic where where it's like, what was more shocking? Was it more shocking to see CP3 become a Warrior as a big time rival, or was it more shocking for Sherman to become a 49ers? Let me know in the chat. I've put out a bunch of polls. I've posted this to pretty much all my social media so far. And so far it's been pretty much the same scenario. It's I would say like 70% leaning Sherman was more shocking to see. But this is my thing with Sherman. Like, was it shocking to see Sherman wear a 49er uniform after Turkey on the 50, after smushing Crabtree's face after the pass deflection to send us home and send them to the Super Bowl? The you try me with the sorry ass wide receiver, that's the result you're gonna get. Like Richard Sherman, trash talker. Um, like yes, I didn't like Sherman from that regard, but I respected Sherman's game. Like I really appreciated like I could put myself in Seahawks fan shoes and be like, "Man, we got a good one in Sherman. He's a leader. He was the leader of the Legion of Boom." Um he made 49ers fans a living hell, but he was a great locker room present. He was really good football player and respected his game. I didn't love him as the 49ers rival, but when the 49ers signed him, I was like, "Oh, let's go. We got an all pro at cornerback." I was like, "I can vibe with that." I could forget really quickly I could forget really quickly all the things that Sherm did to make my life a living hell. Because now he's helping the 49ers. Now he's on our side. He's going to help, which is exactly what he did. He did help the 49ers almost get a Super Bowl. But CP3, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Just not a fan of it. I don't think it's good. I don't know. Isn't dude like 40 years old? I just not a fan. Not a fan of the move for the Warriors. Cuz I don't like Chris Paul as a rival and I just don't like his game. So it's like a double negative. And he's really old and he has no defense. And it's like, well, and the Warriors gave up so much. for him. It's wild to me. At least the 49ers signed Sherm as a free agent, and then Sherm came in and helped reset the culture. Just a locker room leader, like that's what Sherm was. Like Chris Paul to me is just washed, man. Like, what are you getting out of this guy? At least Sherm was like still at the tail end of his prime, so we squeezed out some of like his best years remaining, and we got some good play out of Sherm. I don't know what the Warriors are expecting from Chris Paul. It's like out of old, like Jordan Poole's value must be so in the dirt right now that's the move that they went and did. It's man, that's a tough one. But Sherm was shocking to say the least to be a Niner. But man, Sherm was we could at least like move very quickly past the uh like, oh, Sherm, the arch rival, the arch nemesis, to like, okay, well, at least he's gonna help us win football games, which is exactly what he did. Is CP3 gonna help the Warriors win football games? Like, I like what? Oh, it's I he's I would say it's like CP3. If I had to give a comparison, it could be a good comparison. Maybe not. I don't know. You let me know. CP3 reminds me of like Jalen Ramsey. Like, obviously, Jalen Ramsey is good, but I just would never want Jalen Ramsey on my football team. I don't know if that I'm too close to the situation, like I'm too close to the 49ers. But I mean, I look at it, I look at I look at Jalen Ramsey and I look at Sherman in two completely different lights. Like, yeah, I didn't like Sherm, but I respected his game. I don't like Jalen Ramsey, and I don't really love Jalen Ramsey's game. I don't really love his game. Is he a good cornerback? Yes, of course. He's a good cover corner. I don't know. I don't just something about me doesn't like Jalen Ramsey's game. Even though I can in one light agree that he's one of the better corners, I just don't like the way he plays football. I don't know. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if that's going back to when the 49ers played the Jags and all the trash talking back then. Him blocking me on Instagram back in what was that, 2017 what it was. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Jalen Ramsey's game. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. CP3 reminds me would be like if the 49ers signed Jalen Ramsey when Jalen is washed. Does that make sense? Like that's what I'm comparing it to. CP3 is like the washed version of Jalen Ramsey. It's like you get all the trash talk. It's like you get all that, but you get a fraction of like the player he once was. Like it's a wild trade, to say the least. I don't think the Warriors won that trade. I don't think the Warriors won that trade at all. Uh, n- Not even close. Not even close. But yeah. So, um, let's see. We got some stuff yesterday. We had what else did we have yesterday? Yesterday we had Trey Lance throwing to George Kittle at tight end U. Obviously we had that whole situation with Schefter kicking up the quarterback conversations yet again. I really don't want to divulge too much into it, other than the fact that based on just like the continued narratives being spun, whether you believe them or not, the question that I have for you is, do you see Trey Lance having a future with the San Francisco 49ers? That's just my last question. Like, we know Brock Purdy's going to go in. He's clearly looks like he's healthy. He clearly looks like he will be ready to go for training camp, and he will be the starter. And it's really not much of a question. There, now you've got Schefter saying that he feels like Darnold has the edge. How would Schefter know that? Someone would have to tell him that, and he's not just going to say that all on his own, despite what some may think. And that's what we continue to hear, and there's a reason why that messaging is out there. It just doesn't feel like, whatever you believe, like your own personal feelings on the matter, it just is starting to feel like, it reminds me of when, just like, there's not much of a future here for Trey. So it's just interesting. I think he's staying here this year as well. Like, again, I don't think there's really much options. But again, you draft a guy number 3 overall, you make that trade. That's supposed to be your franchise guy. It clearly doesn't look like Trey is going to be the franchise quarterback. So it's just a matter of time, basically, before they rip that Band-Aid off. And I think they've been slowly ripping it off, because of the nature of it. But yeah, we're back. It's the dog days of the off season. We're throwing it back to 2021. Back when I was in the garage, and we had goats in the background, and we had mail ladies just throwing mail at our mail slot. We had McDonald's Wi-Fi. We're taking it back, man. On a Thursday, we're bringing back the old intimate, uh, the the OG days. Um, but again, it's just it's a wild time. I feel pretty solidified in it, though. I don't think much is going to change. Regardless of what happens at quarterback 2, I really don't think it matters, because the way I'm quantifying it moving forward, it doesn't matter what my beliefs are on what I think Trey Lance is or what Trey Lance could be. What I think is clear is that the franchise got their guy, and it's not Trey. And unless, Trey just shocks the world, which I doubt at this stage. You never say never, but it does feel like for him to get in, it would take a certain set of circumstances of injuries, things like that, and then just him, like, getting that opportunity finally and taking advantage of it. But there's a lot of things that have to fall into play, it sounds like, for that to happen. So until further notice, I don't think there's really going to be a whole lot more quarterback updates. I think the reason why that it was kind of back and forth of, like, well, we heard this a couple weeks ago. We heard it a couple weeks ago from Matt Mayoko, but Matt Mayoko said it was an opinion piece. He said it did not reflect anything of the 49ers. So it came across as a report. He refuted it as a report. He said it was an opinion piece, but clearly his opinion piece is effectively a report, because so far that's exactly what Schefter said. It's exactly what everyone else is saying. It continues to be the same continued thought processes. We don't get anything definitive. We get, like, shreds of information that are not definite. Nothing's definitive about this quarterback situation. That's why whenever anyone talks about it, like a Schefter or someone like that, that's why it's newsworthy, because no one is defining it. So everyone's just spinning on it. So The defining thing for me for the rest of the summer is Brock is quarterback 1. There's a competition at quarterback 2. We're gonna find out who wins that competition in training camp, and Trey isn't going anywhere because there's no trade market, and that's it. What else is there to talk about? You know? What else is there to talk about right now about the quarterback? Like, we've I feel like we've heard it enough, not necessarily like it's been definitive, like, this is what it is, but we've heard it enough that I get it. Like, I get it. Brock's QB1. He's setting up to be the future of the franchise. He's healing properly. He's ahead of schedule. He will likely be ready to go in training camp, which means he'll be likely ready to go to start week 1. Trey is on notice. Sam is putting him on notice. And that's it. There's no trade market, so he's not going anywhere. And we'll see. That's it. Anything else? Any questions? Anything to again also to kind of quantify some of the really just hard-hitting conversations that we had yesterday. I'd just like to reiterate some of the things that we that was really hard hitting and just really just solidified everything. Is it all came down to a potato could lead this roster to some wins. And again, that's no disrespect to any of these quarterbacks, but the point being is we continue to argue about these quarterbacks, who's what's this, what's that, blah 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 blah. Who cares? Because as long as we have someone standing upright who can throw a forward pass, the 49ers are going to win football games. That's it. So, like we said, a potato could lead this team far. And this is what we talked about. And my guy Justin did a phenomenal job of putting together a thread of 49ers quarterbacks as potatoes. The first one being Brock Potato, Yukon Gold. Let me know what you think. I got to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. How do we feel about this one so far? Brock Purdy, Yukon Gold Potato. I think it's pretty accurate. We also have Sam Darnold as the red potato. I also feel like that is pretty accurate as well. If I were to be a potato, I would probably be the red potato as well. Shout out to the legion of gingers everywhere. Um, we have Trey Lance as scalloped potatoes, and then we also had Jimmy Garoppolo as the sweet potato. Uh, Definitely accurate. Jimmy Garoppolo is for sure a sweet potato. I mean, just look at that smile. Definitely a sweet potato. And then Josh Johnson, mashed potatoes. So the biggest thing is, again, with all this quarterback discourse that is just like, I don't know how some people literally wake up every day, get on Twitter and just start talking about the quarterback and just say the same things over and over again. Like it's kind of wild at a certain point. Like it feels like 49ers Twitter is like deja vu all over again. It's like the talking points are deja. I feel like every time I have to talk about it, I'm like, dude, how many times am I going to say the same thing about this? Like, I think we have this like imaginary meter of like how much quarterback talk we can deal with, and I think we're maxed. I just think we're maxed. Like, I don't care if you don't like Brock Purdy or think he's good. I don't care if you don't like Trey Lance or think he's good. I don't care if you think Sam Darnold is bad and don't think he's good. I don't care. You keep just they just keep going. It's like a hamster wheel. It's like a hamster wheel. They say the same things. Like how many times can you say the same thing? I've reached my limit. I've reached my point of it is what it is. All right. We'll see in training camp. And that's why we're having fun with the whole potato thing, is just because at the end of the day, we put so much emphasis on this quarterback thing that, listen, as long as we have a competent quarterback, we don't do you what is it do you want a top 5 quarterback? Of course. Of course you do. Who doesn't? But that's not how it works. Look across the league. It just doesn't happen that way. And unfortunately, the 49ers have been chasing that tail since 2017. They passed on Deshaun. They passed on Patrick Mahomes, and that's the bed that they made, and they got to live with it. Quit talking about it. Like, it doesn't matter like how many times we say it. It's not changing. It's like, yeah, that would have been nice, but it didn't happen. You know, it would have been nice. It didn't happen. Would have been nice if Trey Lance turned out to be like what they expected, I guess. Yeah, that would have been nice. But didn't happen. No, okay. The team is good. And that's a good place to be in. Yeah, it's really what it is, man. Who can stay the healthiest the longest is really what it is. It's really what it is. I'm thinking about this for sure. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days because it's 2 away games, right? The 49ers start on the road. I think it's 2 games on the road. Let me just double check. 49ers schedule. It's yep, 49ers on the road at Steelers, right? And then it's on the road at Rams, and then the home game is Giants. So because of that, I I I think it would be I think they open up on a Thursday night too, right? So it's prime time. I think it's a prime time in Pittsburgh in a classic football town. I think I might have to dabble over there for sure cuz the first travel of the year is going to be Las Vegas for the Raiders. For those joint practices, then we'll have a home preseason game. I'll probably be at that game. Then we have a home preseason game against the Chargers. I'll probably be at that game as well. And then travel to Pittsburgh feels like a good timing. Feels like a good sequence of travel to Vegas, 2 home preseason games, travel to Steelers, probably won't go to the Rams game, but we'll be at the home opener against the Giants, and then most likely at the Arizona Cardinals game. I would imagine I'll be at every home game this year. That's what I imagine. Every home game I'll be at, and if I can make joint practices, Steelers week 1, maybe like a mini road trip, uh, Browns to Vikings. That could be a thing because then, uh, it's gonna be hard to get I won't be able to go to Seahawks because that's on Thanksgiving. Um, like, I might be able to get to that Christmas game, against the Ravens, but might have to bring this whole squad with me, which isn't a bad thing, except for my pockets. And then Christmas Eve at Washington. Mm, so we get into a tough stretch down there. So we'll see. I do want to go to Levi South though, but see, you're seeing how I got to plan these things. I got to plan these things out. Going to every home game, going to travel at least twice, trying to make it three, but I also don't want to blow my travel load in the beginning of the season. So although I do want to go to Levi South, I don't know if I want to blow my load in the beginning of the year. I might want to spread it out a little bit more. So we'll definitely see. Um, uh, I ran into Mike Tomlin at the combine like 4 separate times. I remember I walked into I think it was Prime 47, I think what it was called. You like walk through the double doors, you take a right, and then you walk into the restaurant. And I walk in right through the door. I look to my right, and there's a table right there. It's like a standing table. And I just look and I immediately make eye contact with Mike Tomlin. And I look, I'm like, oh, that's Mike Tomlin. That's cool. And I walk in to talk to like the hostess or whatever. Um, but like I walked past, I like crossed paths with like Mike Tomlin like 3 separate occasions at the combine. But I'll remember that walking into that steakhouse, just looking, making eye contact with Mike Tomlin, and like in my head processing like that's the Steelers head coach. Act normal. I'm like, okay, act normal. Back to what I was doing. But that was quite the experience. That was quite the experience for sure. Yes, put me in your book bag. Take me with you. Brad, how could the same head coach, GM, and scouts that find diamonds in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds be wrong about Trey? What the hell happened? I think I really think what happened was they fell in love what Trey could be, right? Like we all did. We fell in love what Trey could be. And I think, when you go back and you look at Trey's resume coming out of NDSU, like he had a really magical first year, but like when you go back and you look at the context of it all, he never played from behind. He I don't really care about lower division football. I know a lot of people make things about it. I think it's harder to quantify talent, but that doesn't mean talent doesn't come from lower levels. So that's not like a crutch that I use. You can find lower level talent all the time. And again, Jerry Rice didn't play in division. He didn't play big time Division 1 football. He's the GOAT. So it's like you're going to be able to find talent wherever. That's not the problem. I just think he was so young, so green, such limited experience. Really never faced adversity in his career. On the field, off the field, and he clearly wasn't mechanically, I think, where they expected him. And then you take that type of guy and you put him into an extremely, like, again, we've talked about it all the time. Pre-draft, we were saying the 49ers are the best landing spot for a quarterback. Turns out they were the worst spot for a quarterback, because they had to share a locker room with Jimmy Garoppolo. The locker room was fully invested in Jimmy Garoppolo, not the rookie. Um, there's so many variables, and unfortunately, under all those circumstances, Trey just wasn't able to take advantage like Brock did. I think there was an ability to be successful, and he could have, but again, my big thing for Trey in his rookie season was build up an environment of belief around him. Jimmy shouldn't be here. Jimmy, because if you're, and I said that in the sense of Jimmy shouldn't be here if you want to develop your quarterback. If you want to win football games, yes, keep Jimmy. And that's what they did. But that is the hard spot of where they were at, is they kept their old franchise quarterback. They brought in their new franchise quarterback, and clearly there was some friction, I think, and I think that's natural. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's natural friction. When you have a new guy coming in that is taking that guy's job, the whole locker room vibes with the old guy, and then they're like, "Oh, who's this new guy?" Even though they're not like going out of their way to like be like that. I just think it's natural. I just think it's a natural human reaction. And I just don't think I think it's a combination of he came out too soon. I also do think it was just a situation where he came out too soon, didn't have a ton of experience, and didn't land in a spot that would have uh best suited him. Hulk says, I like your show, but how you're so confident Trey is done as a 49ers baffling. Seems like you believe too much of what these media heads are saying, probably because it's what you want to hear. Oh, God. I feel like I've been crystal clear with how I feel. If you do like my show and you are a regular watcher, then you should know my entire thought process on this. And if this is like if you actually watch and listen to the things that I say, and then this is your takeaway, then I would just say you don't listen or pay attention. That's all. I don't even wanna dive too much further into it because I literally don't know how many times I can say it or how many different ways I can quantify the situation. And woosah. This is why this quarterback conversation is just like god awful atrocious. Why are we somber today? Because we're stuck talking about the stupid quarterbacks, man. I'm literally at my wit's end um, with these quarterbacks. And just like that comment, probably because it's what you want to hear. Shut up, dude. Go Hulk smash somewhere else. Like Hulk smash off this channel. Like Hulk smash the unsubscribe button. Leave. Like you can't say in one breath you like the show and then completely misrepresent what I'm saying. I've had enough. Like go away. Like my god. I can't anymore. I just can't. Trey gonna take that job? Okay, take it then. He hasn't done it yet. Is that my thing? Is that me? Is that me? Oh, it's my fault that Trey hasn't. Like, shut up, dude. Like, literally, shut up. Like, quit projecting your crap on me. I'm very crystal clear with how I feel about this scenario. I don't know how many different times I can say it. And if that is your opinion of what I have said and I have surmised, just leave. I'm getting spicy. I'm tired of this. Jeez. Come on. You guys are the thing is like we're all like this right now. We're all spicy. We're all on edge. We're all just like it's I get it. I get it. We've been in this hamster wheel. It's a freaking hamster wheel. And everyone's trying to make sense of it. I get it, but don't project your BS on me. Do not do it. I'm tired. I'm sick. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired. Don't project your BS on me. Because that's what you want to hear. I want to hear you clicking the unsubscribe button and Hulk smashing your way over to a different channel. I ain't about that action, boss. Like for real. That's why this quarterback conversation is so just atrocious. It's so like nothing about what I say. I don't say things to be hot takey or clickbaity, or I really try to process these things from multiple perspectives, from the front office perspective, from a player perspective, from an outside looking in perspective. There are multiple levels to this. There are multiple angles that you can view something and try to quantify it. And that's how I always attack football, how I attack this team and covering this team. And if you're going to put me into a box and sit there and say, "Oh, I like this show," get out of here, bro. Like, come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I don't got time for it anymore. I really don't. That's why it's like the quarterback is what it is. It is what it is. Don't project your crap on me. I don't care. I don't care who the quarterback is. A potato, like we literally started off this segment with the whole, like it's still on the screen. We have a thread up that is about quarterbacks as potatoes, making fun of the fact that we don't care. Watching Graham live today, and the theme was that the roster is so good, a potato could play quarterback. Yet I want Trey Lance to be unsuccessful. Do you see everything behind me? I am a fan. I like the 49ers. I'm not paid by a organization, by a news outlet. I'm not a journalist. I cover the team how I want to cover the team. That is the beauty of being independent. Is I get to rock how I want to rock. And how I rock is I try to look at every angle, every perspective, and I'm tired of this quarterback thing. I'm tired of it because of comments like that. Tired of it. Anyways, he got me, man. He did. That was such a terrible comment. Just a terrible comment. I like your show, but how are you so confident Trey is done as a 49er is baffling. Seems like you believe too much of what the media heads are saying, probably because it's what you want to hear. Hulk smash your way off this channel. Hulk, bye. You don't like this show. You don't rock here. You don't rock with the SDS, clearly. So, peace, my boy. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate it. But night, night. See you later. It doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't. It's not how I want it to be. I don't want to be spicy. I want to vibe. I want to have a good time. I want to talk about fun things because being a fan should be fun. Being a fan shouldn't stress you out. Why are we discussed and called the 40 whiners? Because our fans whine. Our fans like Hulk Smash whine. They just whine. Probably because that's what you want. Bro. Do you need a tissue? Are you crying as you're typing that? Like, what? Just straight out projecting your quarterback insecurities onto me. I ain't about that life, man. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. You happen to strike a nerve on the right day. Apparently I have time today. So I don't know what else we're going to talk about. I really don't. Because I don't know what else to talk about. Summer school. Welcome to 49ers summer school. This is actually very like emblematic of like, you know, summer school. Like we had a little, you know, little turd drop into the chat, project his quarterback insecurities onto me. Had to expel him real quick. It's all good. It happens. But hey, regardless of all that and all that fun stuff, hey, did you know the 49ers have a good roster? Oh, he gone. He gone. Bye-bye. He hasn't said one word. Bounced. Bye-bye. Who do I think is the most intimidating player? Good question. I would say Trent Williams would have to be like Trent Williams. Who else? I think in game Fred Warner, like in game hyped up Fred Warner would be very intimidating. Because these players, like outside the game, super chill, super cool, all that type of stuff. But when they step on that field, it's like they flip a switch and they turn into savages. Could you imagine Trent Williams looking at you like he wants to rip your head off? I would run away. I would not want any of that. Nope. Uh Fred too. Like Fred for sure. Kinlaw 100%. Kinlaw is someone I would not want to piss off, dude. That dude looks like he would just stare at you've seen Kinlaw's mean mug. Like I'd be like, "Hey, my bad, my bad." Like, nah, last thing I want to do is piss off Kinlaw. Um, no, he would cook someone. He's very intimidating. Who else? And it's rare that offensive linemen are like super intimidating. Um, it really is because offensive linemen are normally happy-go-lucky type guys. Uh, so when you've come across an O lineman with a mean streak, those I love those type of offensive linemen because they're rare. And Trent's like that. Trent is like he's like a cat who like plays with the mouse. Like he caught the mouse and he just kind of messes with it before he ultimately ends it. Like that's what Trent reminds me of when he's in his bag, messing with defensive linemen. They don't know what he's gonna do, and because of that, he just he just toys with them. He just toys with them, and then when it's time to kill, he kills. Like Trent is a savage. Uh, I would say Debo would be pretty intimidating. Um, I don't know if I could say George because George will kill you with a smile on his not kill you, not literally. He will pulverize you with a smile on his face. Um, so like Kittle, I would be worried about like him destroying me, but he would do it while like laughing like the Joker. Like it would just be a completely different like head game with Kittle because he'd make you feel like your boys and then he'd just flat back you. Um, yeah, I like that question. Good question. Good question. Joey Fisher highlights had me intimidated. Yeah, I liked his style. I liked his style. Did you guys see Joey pop into the chat? I think it was yesterday or no, 2 days ago. He was vibing in the chat. I don't know if you guys even noticed it, but Joey Fisher popped into the chat, said what's up. Um, I think it was the day we did underrated. He stopped in, said what's up. So Joey Fisher was in our chat. I don't think anyone noticed though. um, who else? I would say Deshaun Goldson though. Like we wanna go even further back. Deshaun Goldson, man. He would intimidate. He would be intimidating to me. Charvarius Ward, bro, seems like such a chill dude. I don't know, man. He seems like such a chill dude. Seeing some of the interviews and like seeing him, like he seems like a real down to earth dude. Charveri seems like Mooney seems like a chill ass dude. He seems like someone I would want to kick it with. He seems really cool. He seems really cool. Um, BA low key. BA is definitely low key. Uh, previous teams, Ahmad Brooks for sure. For sure. Of course, I don't who would be more intimidating, Patrick Willis or Navarro Bowman? See, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Oh, he's still here. No one blocked you. And we can definitely have different thoughts. You remember you projected your thoughts onto me? I think you forgot how that goes, but Hulk smash your way out of here. Uh Bowman Bowman would be pretty intimidating for sure. For sure, for sure. It would be hard though. It would be hard to be too, but Patrick, like deep down, P. Willie's such like a he's such a sweetheart. Such a good guy. I know that for a fact. Obviously, having to been able to talk to him and all that stuff, but it's like Bowman. He kind of got those vibes, like where he would just like stare through your soul. He's also a good guy. Both of them would be Alex Boone. Yep. In game, Alex Boone. That's another guy I got to meet at the combine. I actually recognized Alex Boone walking down the street and chopped it up with him for a little bit. A super nice guy, right? Just like in person, just super chill, super like fun loving. Kind of got that Staley energy. So like in the context where I met Boone, Boone was cool as hell. But you see Boone on game day, again, flip the switch, man. They flip the switch, go to this different place, and they become these different guys. Like you go into straight warrior mode. Um, Super cool off the field. On the field, you ain't you're not messing around. Not messing around at all. Dang. Bruce Miller, if I was an old man. Nice. Nice. I like it. I don't like it because of what he did, but it's funny. I will admit that. It's kind of funny. Um Cowboy, yes, he would be intimidating because he's got that grown man strength. Like he would hog tie you in about 2 seconds. If it ever came down to it. Just yeah, done, cooked. Prime Alden, yeah, pretty scary. Pretty scary. How come no one said Ronnie Lott? True. Definitely true. I wasn't really old enough to watch Ronnie like that, but I've seen enough and heard enough to have to say I would agree with you. I was a little older or a little younger, I should say, before the Ronnie era, but the legend for sure. For sure, for sure. Tom Rathman, yep. He was a bruiser. Bunch of them, man. Bunch of them. First NFL jersey bought was a Justin Smith. I like that. That's a good pull. That's definitely a good pull. Charles Haley. I met Charles Haley once. Um, I was I was a project manager. This was actually when the Super Bowl was last in the Bay. That Nike had an activation in San Francisco. I was the project manager on that particular project, and it was really cool because they would have all these athletes come in, all these players come in, all this stuff. Um, One of the ladies at the front had no idea who Charles Haley was, and he was trying to get in, and she wouldn't let him in, and basically turned him away, and was like, just didn't let him in. I'm like, you just turned away football royalty. I was like, that's crazy. It's like that's wild. But I mean, I don't blame her. I wouldn't expect her to know who Charles Haley was, but that was just wild interaction because like she couldn't like cross reference like who he was, and so she's like, I can't let you in. I was like, dang, you just turned away 5-time Super Bowl winner. at basically a Super Bowl activation. Like that was crazy. But fun times. That was a great project to work on. Bo Jackson was there. Got to see Bo. That was cool. That was a cool activation. But you know what? Right on time. We're at an hour. We already went off the rails earlier, so I'm gonna Hulk smash my way off this stream. Again, shout out to all you guys who actually rock with the channel. Like actually listen to the things that I say and can understand and rationalize the things that I say and don't project and insert things that clearly go against all the things that I've ever said. So shout out to all you guys. And if you aren't that person, I'm not shouting you out. So thank you guys as always, man. It's been a long off season. We have had our fair share of highs heading into, dealing with that 2023 season and our fair share of lows since. But I appreciate all you guys as always rocking with the channel. Thank you for letting me have that little therapeutic moment. It's always my goal to strive to be as respectful and take in everyone's opinion as it is. We don't have to agree. We always talk about that. But today wasn't the day to project some BS onto me. Wasn't having it. But shout out to all you guys for tapping in. Grab your cookies on the way out. Grab your cookies, grab your potatoes. Shout out to SDS. Shout out to Gang. Man, at this Hulk smash that like button. I don't know, at this rate we are just going to have so many inside jokes moving forward. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait for it. But shout out to all you guys. Thank you for vibing with me, man. I really appreciate it. But I'm out for now. Y'all have a good one. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see